Welcome back to the Blue North. Today I'd like to talk briefly about cancel culture. We can't have cancel culture. We cannot allow it to thrive in our society because it's like a cancer. It's absolutely going to kill us. It's going to destroy everything in its path. When we say we can't have this bean company because their CEO says that they support President of the United States, so we have to have everybody that works for that company has to lose their job because the CEO said that they support the president, or that CEO has to go because the left doesn't like that someone supports the president. Well, there are a lot of people that support the president. Is every company going to have to close because the CEOs support Donald Trump? It's asinine. So now it's not just a thing of the left. The right is starting to kind of say, hey, well, we should defund or cancel these liberal colleges. Well, that can't happen. We can't start playing the same game that the left is playing. Cancel culture is never going to work. We despise it on the right. And now some of us on the right are going to start saying that we need to defund these schools. It has to stop. This is getting out of control. It's one thing for the left to keep saying we have to cancel everything. That's a fight we're having. That's a battle that we are engrossed in right now. But we can't play the same game. Or what's going to happen? We're going to cancel everything. So my take on these schools with the very liberal professors that are teaching things that we as conservatives and right wings don't agree with. These are 20-year-old, 18 to 20 to 21-year-old children. They're not children really, they're adults. They can vote, they can drive, they can drink, they can. So you have spent your entire life rearing them, educating them on your beliefs in your home, what you stand for as a husband and father, or whatever dynamic you have in your home. You've raised your children in your belief pattern that you built your house on. So at 20 years old, they're pretty strongly, rooted in what mom and dad have given them as a base. So now they have to, at some point, go out into the world. They do have to get jobs. They do have to have girlfriends or boyfriends. They do have to have social relationships. They do have to have all kinds of different relationships, whether it's at work, on your off time, school, whatever it is. You have to have faith in your children that you have put them on the right path because this is what you feel is the right path. Then they have to go out and they have to live their own life. They have to be able to go out and hear those opposing ideas, learn how to debate or learn how to interact with people that they don't see eye to eye with. These are all life's lessons. These are all things that have to happen. You're not going to get along with everybody at work. You're not going to get along with everybody at school. You're not going to believe everything your teachers tell you or your boss. You're not going to believe everything your best friend tells you. You have to get to the point in your life where you're okay hearing these opposing ideas, understanding what battles you want to pick and which ones you say, I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not going to even address that. That's just a never-ending battle. There's so many different things in life that these issues are going to come up with. Even your wife. You're going to get married. You're going to have a wife or a husband, and you're going to have to know which battle you want to, am I going to really get into this? Okay, yeah, no, you know what? I feel like I want to discuss this. But just like that relationship, your friends, your bosses, your coworkers, you have to have a respect and you have to have a maturity. So back to these liberal schools and liberal professors, when you're there, if you're there and you're hearing these ideas and you don't agree with them and whatever, you have to be able to sit there and go, okay, well, I don't agree with any of that, but That's what he's telling me. You can question, and it's a good opportunity for people to, when you're 20 years old, you may not have had too much confrontation at home. So it's new to them, standing up for their values. That's a good thing. Having these opposing ideas presented by teachers and putting your hand up and saying, hey, you know what? I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's what happened. Or sometimes in some of these very liberal schools, they even oppose the Holocaust. So if your child is sitting there and listening to a teacher say that that never happened or whatever else, these are the situations where maybe the government needs to step in, because this is just outright ridiculous. But for the most part, that isn't the norm. They do teach a very liberal stance, but it's okay for our children to hear that. Not that the Holocaust was not true, or it didn't exist, or it was a conspiracy theory, or that's just garbage. And that's the stuff that should be reported. But just a liberal mindset, it's actually good for conservatives to hear an opposing idea. If you surround yourself with people that tell you the same thing that you believe, and they always tell you yes to whatever you say, you're not ever growing. You're not ever learning. You're not ever going to be able to adapt to a situation. Sometimes you think you're right. You go into a situation, you've spent your whole life believing something, you've never really researched it, but you kind of had a feeling on it. And then someone presents you facts, and it sparks a little fire in your brain to like, I'm going to research this a little more. It doesn't change your opinion on it sometimes. Sometimes it does. But for the most part, it might get you to go and investigate some stuff or learn. And those are good things as well. So we can't fall into the same rut that the left is already in, saying we need to cancel everything that we don't agree with, because that is just ridiculous. And those people that are doing that are never going to they're never going to be able to function in life. They're never going to be able to handle those situations where most people can just say, okay, we agree to disagree and we move on. They just don't have that ability. We can't fall into that same rut, because if we do, then we're going to have an eternal battle of canceling everything. The left is going to want to cancel everything the right stands for, and the right's going to try to cancel everything that the left stands for. And you're wasting your life. There's an old saying, hate corrodes the container that it's carried in. Don't be that container. So I'm going to stay on top of this cancel culture. I'm going to see where it goes. It has to stop. It has to go away. It has to be a thing of the past. We have to cancel the cancel culture in order to grow, in order to function. But I'm going to keep on top of it. Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more podcasts on the Blue North.